So, welcome to the 5th Ginetta GT5 Junior Notebook. In this episode of it, we will be discussing Azure Circuit, and along with that, we will also be discussing generally the highlights of it, and also the drivers' opinions on how they thought this round went for them, along with looking at round number 6 and their expectations. So let's get into it then with race number 1 at the jewel of racing, really, in the F1 calendar at least. Boyraxer set up pole position quite nicely. Liam Thursday was second, with Adam Morris third, AMH fourth. Fraser qualified a good 5th place, one of his better qualifyings of this season. Gaza 123 was 6th. Radovan 7th, Sandwalk 8th, Scooby 9th, Jim 10th, Afgape 11th, Scott McFall, Scooby G, his debut in the Ginettas, Scott McFall's debut in the Ginettas, he came 12th, Yorkshire Stick 13th, Shockshaft was 14th, with Shadowstalker rounding out the grid in 15th place. So we got into the race, and it was really good. We had Phil watching. It was fantastic to have Phil there commenting during the race. Some really good points brought up actually made from the NXTGEN admin. But on lap number 1, Boyraxer had a phenomenal start. Got off the grid, got up the road. Nothing stopped him off that line. Adam attempted to get past Liam, but was into Sandevot. However, couldn't do it, and Fraser ended up passing Adam out of Sandevot. With Yorkshire Stick going up into third, it says up to P13. He did lose a position off the line against Shockshaft, and he retook it in that first lap. Fraser did, obviously after getting up into position 3, fell down to 10th. I got a feeling something happened at Mirabeau, or somewhere along there. Because it was quite a rapid drop down actually for the Renault Esports finalist. Afcape and Fraser had a bit of contact into the Nouvelle Chicane. Afcape tried to move on Fraser. Didn't quite work, and they both tapped. Obviously Fraser ended up going across the chicane, but unfortunately nothing he could really do about it. It was either that or have a massive crash instead. But Fraser up to P9 at this point of the lap. Scooby was then made a mistake out of the Nouvelle Chicane, so fell behind Fraser into position 9. That kind of wraps up lap 1. It was quite an intensive lap. Until lap 2, Sandwalk attempted a move on Gaz at Sandevot, but that didn't work, and Scott McFall ended up at the back of the pack in 15th place. On to lap 3 of this 6-lap race, and Fraser passed Jim for 7th before Sandevot. Great move. I mean, Jim made a mistake going through Anthony Nose, and Fraser capitalised on it quite happily. Radovan ended up passing Afcape for 10th place, with Shadowstalker now at the back of the pack after a mistake by him. Jim ended up in the wall at Portier, which allowed Scooby G to have a potential look into the Nouvelle Chicane. Scooby decided it wasn't worth it going in, and then ended up backing out of the move. Both Sandwalk and Fraser on lap number 4 went into the wall to back. Fraser looked like he wanted to make a move into the back after a great run out of the Nouvelle Chicane. However, obviously that didn't work. They both went careering into the wall. That's about the only bit of action really for lap number 4. It's quite a quiet lap, in all fairness. It wasn't exactly exciting. Going on to lap 5, Sandwalk ended up spinning at Sandevot. Not not the best way to go, really. And Jim yes, Samuel actually spun at Sandevot on lap 5, and unfortunately he went across Jim, which Jim then T-boned Sandwalk, which meant that Sandwalk went down to 9th. Jim went down to 8th at the time. I mean, I think it was a battle for 6th place. Just around there. It was around 6th place battle. So that happened. Let's continue on with lap 5. Scooby was passed by Yorkshire Stig for 10th place. And then on lap number 6, Jim pulls off one of the most stunning moves around as you'll ever see. Set up Radovan coming out of Sandoval, had a run up through Beau Rivage and up into Massenet. He went right round the outside, no contact at all between the two drivers. And man, oh man, it was fantastic to watch, and what a move from the reliable rooftop racing man. But in general over the race, Liam and Adam had a very close battle. AMH and Gaz 123 had a fairly close battle as well. So at the end of race results, the defending champion won another race for himself. That made it a lot of wins. I think there was possibly either 7 or 8 out of 9 races won by Boyraxa. Lima Thurso came in a very good second place. Adam Morris was 3rd. AMH was 4th. Gaza 5th. Fraser 6th. Radovan 80 became 7th, so he didn't move at all from his grid position. Jim ended up in 8th in the end, a mistake by him. Yorkshire Stig was 9th, Scooby G 10th, Sandwalk 11th, Shock Shaft was 12th, Shadowstalker 13th. Scott McFall did wait for everyone because he said he wasn't taking any points, being just a filler, but Avcape pumped him across the line for 14th, with Avcape being 15th at last. So a really, really good first race for the guys. Then into the second race, which is obviously the feature, must pit for tyres, 21 laps was to be ran. And the top 5 from race 1 was not to qualify. Now in qualifying there was drama already before the race. Fraser had got pole position, provisional pole position, until he disconnected. He literally disconnected, and there was not enough time left in the session to get back in and at least race. Big shame for him. He looked quick and he looked like he could have won the race, but that was not to be. Radovan then took pole position from Scooby, Scott McFall, Sandwalk 3, Avcape, Yorkshire Stig, Jim, Shockshaft, Shadowstalker, with Gaza, AMH, Adam Morris, Lima Thurso, Boyraxa not qualifying. So coming off the line, and Scooby, what a start that man had. Straight into the lead going into Sandoval. AMH though after Sandoval started 11th, went up to 7th place, a phenomenal thing to occur. Shadowstalker went down to 14th place by the time they reached Mirabeau, and Sandwalk 3, another good start. He was 4th, but he passed Scott McFall into 3rd place. By the end of the AMH, almost on a courtard at the Nouvelle Chicane, came over the crest, the back end, lost the back end coming over the crest, almost hitting the wall. Luckily though, he did save it, and what a save it was. Going on to lap number 2, Jim was up to position 5 against Avcape. And then Jim did try an overtake on Scott McFall, but it didn't quite work. And he had to let him back pass because he forced Scott McFall off the circuit at the Nouvelle Chicane. And yeah, it just didn't work, not really. So he had to... he had to let him back pass, but he lost more positions than he'd liked. So he went down to 12th place in the end on lap number 2. Not ideal for us at all. But carrying on with lap number 2, Avcape went up to position 4. He was having a decent race. Radovan passed Scooby for the lead of the race, and he was looking really, really strong. Going to lap 5, going to lap 3, AMH went up to 4th place, passing half cape. And then on the same lap, AMH passed Scooby for 3rd place. Fantastic to see from AMH, really dicing the field open. And yeah, really good. I mean, I think Phil said it was like watching Ashley Sutton coming through the field. Onto lap 4, Shadowstalker spun at lows. It was quite an amusing highlight. Definitely not a place you want to be stuck at spinning. Going on to lap number 6, Adam had passed half cape for 6th place at Sandoval. A really good move, but half cape tried to switch back and it didn't quite work. He caught the back of Adam, and half cape and Adam then had a bit of a bump all over the road, and that enabled Liam at Thurso to get into position 6, benefiting from that. Carrying on with lap number 6, Sandwalk spun at Massenet and then spun again at lows. Then on to lap number 9, Adam had passed Liam using the undercut in the pits. It was a really big undercut. So a cracking effort, and then Liam and Adam then passed Gaza in the undercut of the pit stops. Adam then passes Shock Shaft as he's carving his way through after his pit stop at Rascas. Really good. Around the outside, I think it was. Cracking move. Radovan went in the pits on lap 11, but the crew did not change his tyres, or they only changed 2 of them, which is against the rules. So he came out of the pits, had to go straight back in on lap number 12, which pretty much ruined his race, and allowed AMH to gain control of the race and the lead on lap number 13. Boy Raxa, lap 14, probably move of the season. He got alongside Gazo 123 at Mirabeau. Now, if you don't know where that is, it's Monte Carlo. That is after Casino Square. And he went from Mirabeau. They went Mirabeau, Lowe's, all the way through Portier, through the tunnel, and then down into the Nouvelle Chicane. And it wasn't until after they exited the first part of the Nouvelle Chicane that Boyrax had actually got the move done for 4th place. They went almost a quarter of the circuit, absolutely side by side. It was phenomenal to watch. And if you do want to see that, I advise you to watch that live stream. Lap number 14, race number 2. Fantastic stuff. Going on to lap 16, AMH spun at the swimming pool chicane, the second one, the slightly tighter one, which meant that he lost his lead, and it was a big shame. He was really going strong, but he just pushed it a little bit too much still. Going on to lap 18, AMH then retired, and Boyraxa, a very unusual thing to happen to him, spun into the wall at Massenet, and he went down to 4th place. From lap 19 to 21, very Monaco style racing, just following each other around, no real action going on. So Adam Morris took his 2nd win of the season, followed by Liam at Thurso, Gaza123, Boyraxa, Scooby G, great debut really on the 2nd race in 5th place. Radovan was 6th, Jim 7th, Yorkshire Stig was 8th, Sandwalk was 9th, Half Cape 10th, AMH was retired along with Shockshaft, Shadowstalker and Scott McFall, and Fraser obviously disconnected. But looking at some of the driver's comments, we have Half Cape here. He thought round 5, still not happy with it, but he thinks he might find the way up. Obviously any incidents for him, yes, he had a crash in race 2 with at the swimming pool chicane, and that's what lost him all those places. And he had a little incident with Adam Morris obviously at Sandoval. Rated the overall race a 10. Round 6, obviously Alton Park International, and he's getting excited by reading it. He's saying it's a shame it's not the Foster's circuit though. He's saying he will miss the baked bean curbs at the exit of after the Cascades into the 90 right through the shortcut. And he wants to improve, so at least finish both races in the points, which would be very nice to see for Ralph Cape. Boy Rex 14, current championship leader and defending. He thought round 5, first one went well, but the second one he made a misjudgment which cost him the podium. And that will be through that Massenet, just spinning into the wall. Saying any problems, instance, he said Monaco is never a perfect clean race. There will always be small contact with other drivers or the barriers. Just a fairly fair comment really around there. Rate the overall race a 7, so good high rating. Alton Park, he says it's a fun track. It's not easy to master, and it's a lot like Monaco without barriers, grass on the outside. So it'll be interesting, and he's hoping to outscore his championship rivals because now he's in a position where he doesn't have to win every race. He just has to finish enough points ahead. So Liam at Thurso, he thought round 5 was very solid for him, 2 second places, and he had to go from the back of the pack to P2 in race 2, which is more than he expected, so he's very happy with his night's work. He only had one incident, which was a minor tangle in the aftermath of the incident with Adam and Half Cape. Rate the race a 9. He doesn't enjoy Alton Park, but only raced it once, and that was 2 years ago. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that for Liam. He really wants a win at round 6. He's won about 4 or 5 a season in the last 2 seasons he's done, so he'd like to have a similar number again this season, but he's going to have to work really hard against Boy Rexa. Sandwalk 3 though, he thought round 5 went terrible. He threw away second place in race 2, and he was terrible in race 1. Just basically bringing on next week. He didn't have any problems or incidents, although he did say some may have got caught up in him having a moment during race 1 through Saint-Avold. Out of 10 he rated at 5, obviously not brilliant night for him. He enjoys Alton Park though, much more than Monaco, so we're hoping to see, so he's expecting 2 good clean races with top 8 finishes. That's what he wants, but can he get it? But as I said before, it is Alton Park International next, so do join us for that tonight on this channel, and it will be fantastic to see everyone there who watches. Just comment, say hi. We'll have a bit of a conversation through the race, through qualifying. You can raise points up, I don't mind. But join us for Alton Park for round 6 of the Ginettas. But thank you for listening.